Happy Easter, my friends. You might know that the Easter story shows up in the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And if you have read through those four Gospels recently, you may have noticed something as you read through Mark's account of the resurrection. You may have noticed a lot of things, but one thing in particular that I like to notice every time is that the angels single out Peter among the disciples. When they're talking with the women and they tell the women, Jesus is risen, and now go tell the disciples and Peter that Jesus is risen. And why would they have done that? Why would the book of Mark single out Peter when none of the other books do? Most people believe that the book of Mark was written by a disciple named John Mark, who was not an eyewitness to all the things that he wrote about in his book. And if he wasn't an eyewitness, then where did he get his information? Most people believe he got it from Peter. And so at one point, Peter and John Mark would have sat down and Peter would have told him the story. And so at one point they would have sat down and Peter would have told him the story of Easter as he heard it. And he said, well, listen, John Mark, the women went to the tomb and they were really scared and it was empty and they didn't know what was going on. And then an angel appeared to them and they were even more scared. But then the angel said, don't worry, Jesus is risen. And then they gave them instructions and they said, go and tell the disciples that Jesus is risen. And then get this. Then the angel said, and tell Peter. And they didn't say any of the names of the other disciples. I want you to imagine John Mark listening to that and then asking, well, why? Why do you think they said your name, Peter? And I don't know what he would have said, but if you know Peter's history with Jesus leading up to the crucifixion, you know that Peter was just really grateful that Jesus wanted his angels to make sure Peter knew that Jesus still loved him, that Jesus hadn't forgotten about him. And whatever your story is, you know that Easter means that the same is true for you, that Jesus loves you, that he hasn't forgotten about you, and there is nothing in all creation, not sin, not death, not anything, that's going to stop him from being here for you. Blessed Easter, my friends. Jesus is risen.